Chapter 3 Escalating Threat. With Maria sedated, Elara activated her comm and said, "Captain, we've sedated Maria after an outburst. We're still uncertain about its cause." Hesbien's voice came across the comm and said, "Find out what triggered it. We can't afford to lose her. Update me immediately with any developments." "Will do, Captain," Elara said tiredly. Dan walked over to Elara, placing his hand on her shoulder and said, "You need to look after yourself too, not just everyone else. Why don't you take a break?" Elara smiled warmly at Dan, putting her hand on his and said, "Thank you. Yes, a little break sounds nice. Do you want me to bring you a bag of water?" Dan smiled and nodded as Elara left the medical bay. Meanwhile, Logan had finished up the hull repair in the cargo bay and was headed out to continue work elsewhere on the ship. As he left the cargo bay, he decided to activate his comm to talk to his wife, Maintenance Officer Maya Patel, and said, "Maya, where are you? I wrapped up the hull repair and thought we could regroup. Everything okay?" He waited, but the comm static hiss was the only response. Logan admired Maya's tenacity and mechanical prowess. They had collaborated on numerous projects on the Overburdened, welding parts, recalibrating systems, and sometimes sharing a laugh over a tricky piece of machinery. Logan was accustomed to her routine banter while they worked side by side, but as he waited for her reply on the comm, which never came, he began to worry. He activated his comm again and asked, "Maya, where'd you run off to?" The channel remained silent. No snarky comeback, no reassuring voice, just silence. A knot tightened in Logan's chest as he sighed disapprovingly. With everything going on, no one had the luxury of disappearing. He decided to go hunting for his absent wife and maintenance partner. His flashlight pierced the dim corridors, glinting off dented walls and exposed cables, as he ventured deeper into the ship. Logan felt a suffocating quiet. The familiar hum of machinery seemed distant, replaced by an unsettling stillness. Feeling uneasy, Logan decided to contact Hesbien about Maya's lack of reply, and he activated his comm and said, "Captain, I have finished repairs on the hull. We should be safe to remove our EVA suits now. And just curious, but have you heard from Maya lately? I can't get her on the comm." A moment later, Hesbien's voice came back through the comm and said, "No, I'm afraid I haven't. I can have Sophia check the cameras and look for her. I'll let you know if we locate her." "Copy that, sir," Logan said. He turned his attention back to the search and headed off down the corridor. Back on the bridge, Hesbien said to Sophia, a security officer, "Sophia, can you search the camera system and see if you can get a location on Maya?" "Will do, Captain," came Sophia's concerned response through the comm. Aly approached Hesbien and stood next to him at his command station. Their shoulders pressed against each other as she peered at the flashing screens and data streaming in. Aly's fingers clenched at her side as she asked, "Do you think we're going to make it?" Hesbien met her gaze and said, "We'll make it, Aly." He leaned into her reassuringly and winked. Technician Ravi Singh, a tall, tan-skinned man with dark brown hair, noticed their private moment and cleared his throat loudly. Embarrassed, they pulled away from each other, and at the same time, Trevor's voice came across the comm and said, "Captain, I have finished the main repairs to the ion drive. We should be back up and running within the next 2 hours." "We don't have that much time, Trevor. We need you to up your game and get it done," Hesbien commanded. "Yes, sir," Trevor replied, his exhaustion evident. Meanwhile, Logan's search for Maya had turned up nothing. As he rounded a corner in one of the corridors on Deck 2, he spotted Maya's tool bag laying open on the ground, next to a vent in the wall with a pair of legs hanging out of it. His heart jumped and his pulse boomed in his ears. Each beat resonated his rising dread. He rushed over to check if the legs belonged to Maya, and if she was okay. He didn't see or hear any movement as he approached her, and he started to panic. He grabbed one of her legs when he got over to her and yelled, "Maya!" A chilling scream echoed from the vent. Logan gasped and jumped back in horror at the sudden scream. Moments later, Maya slid out, giving Logan a shocked look. "What are you doing?" she exclaimed, shakily. "Trying to give me a heart attack?" "You? What about me? I thought you were dead. You haven't been replying to any of my comm calls, and no one knew where you were," Logan said, exasperated. Maya glanced down at her unlit comm and remarked, "Well, that explains it. My comm's dead. No wonder I missed your calls." "Well, I'm glad you're okay. You had me worried," Logan said, sounding relieved. He gave her a big hug and she kissed him passionately in response. Back on the bridge, proximity alarms blared, signaling the Overburdened's perilous descent towards the colossal planet. Aly and Hesbien scrambled to verify data and frantically adjusted the ship's controls, desperate to curb its accelerating drift.